We teased it last time, now it's time to deliver. On this episode, we journey to the belly button of Hokkaido, Furano.
I mean, that's such a cute nickname. Obviously, Furano has the belly button of Hokkaido nickname because it's right in the very center of Hokkaido. And like most Japanese towns, of course, Furano has their very own mascot, Hasumaru-kun. And his nose is like an actual belly button. Super weird. And they have this parade every year where people draw his face on their bellies and they walk around and pretend to be Hasumaru-kun. Because why not?
We stayed in a guest house, like the kind you'd see in an anime, where everybody has their own room and the bathrooms are all sort of out in the hallway in common areas. Same with the bath. Each room was just a simple tatami room, and if you needed to wash your hands or brush your teeth or anything like that, the sinks were located out in the hallway.
So ladies, if you feel like you need to straighten your hair, or do some of your beauty routine, or just want to see your face in a mirror, everyone else is going to see all that you're doing.
After we checked our stuff in our room, we headed out to some food, and we ended up stumbling across a pretty famous eatery called Kumagera. The name actually translates to black woodpecker, which is a famous bird in Verano.
We honestly didn't really know much about Kumagera when we first found it. We were just starving, and we used good old Yelp just to see what was decently rated by people and just within walking distance from the guest house. And people were actually right. Usually Yelp, I feel like, is pretty misleading. Anyway, this place actually happened to be Michelin starred, so go us for having good choices.
Yay. We had a duck and venison nabe pot, which actually featured a really thick, creamy tonkatsu broth. The whole thing was just delicious, and you really just wanted to drink it straight out of the bowl. We loved it so much, we really tried to replicate it in one of our most recent episodes of Kanpai Kitchen. You can watch that attempt over here. Or it's over there.
That side.
Over here.
Pick a side. Who knows where it will be?
Yeah, it'll be somewhere.
Maybe in the description. With warmed hearts and bodies, we drove on to the new Furano Prince Hotel, which is actually a famous hotel in the area that has a fun mini wonderland of sorts called Kan Mura. So the first kan means joy, the second one means cold, and of course, Mura means village, so roughly translates to Joy Cold Village. And that's just according to the Furano tourism website.
Kan Mura is a place where you pay 300 yen to get in, and that price comes with one free sledding while you're there. So you get to go in and experience these little snow sculptures of like a bear, and there was the squirrel. But you gotta be honest, the first place we stopped was another ice bar.
Heck yeah!
And this ice bar was designed a lot more like an igloo, so the roof and the walls and everything were made of ice, as well as the bar and the stools. They had little furs that you could sit on so that you weren't sitting directly on a big block of ice.
Wet butts aren't fun.
No, they're not. Our cups, though, this time were just paper and plastic, so we kind of, we already got the fun ice cups at the last ice bar we were at, so it was okay that these weren't, carved ice. So we decided to grab our drinks at the ice bar and head out and take a look and see what else we could find.
And there were puppies! And the puppers were so cute and so well behaved. And if you purchase a ticket, you could even do some dog sledding. Aw, is that a good puppy? Good puppy. Yay, Joey. Yay. And they also had this large flat field where this random dude on a snowmobile would tow you around on this like inflatable banana with you and 3 of your best friends, and he would whip you around until you either cried or fell off the banana. So that looked like fun.
Don't fall off the banana. After we finished our drinks, we took our turn using our complimentary ticket on the inner tube slide. Inner tube slide.
Can I try that again?
Once we finished our drinks, we headed over to the inner tube slide, which came free with our admission, and decided to take our turn before saying goodbye to Kan Mura. Right next to Kan Mura, we headed into Ningle town.
Who comes up with these names? That's all I have to ask. Ningletown?
Ningletown.
Anyway, Ningletown was basically these adorable shops all huddled together on top of this wooded hill, and they had hot cocoa and hot cider for you to drink, and each individual shop had their own handmade goods and trinkets and knickknacks, and just things that would make fun little souvenirs.
Yeah, it's kind of like the little holiday bazaars that you'll get over here anytime wintertime comes around.
But in little huts in the woods. But it was crazy cold, so we decided to hightail it out of there, get some drinks and play some cards in our room and just go to bed.
And if you've never slept in a tatami room floor with the futons, you'll have not really understood the beanbag pillow phenomenon. And if you're not a fan of having a beanbag for a pillow, let's tune in with Past Blaine to see what his technique is for getting around it. Past Blaine?
Hey, good morning. This is a life hack for anyone finding themselves having to sleep with some of these beanbag pillows that you get at some of those ryokan. They ain't comfy unless you can only sleep on your back. Open up the closet and use a butt cushion for your head. Just trust me on this one.
Thank you, Past Blaine. Good information.
For breakfast the next day, we went to Furano Delice, and it's this adorable little bakery where we had this incredible biscuit, just so flaky and delicious, and I want it so bad. Just be careful going to this bakery because literally you could eat all your calories for the month at this place because everything tastes so good.
If you're not aware, Hokkaido is super famous for their dairy products. To the point where in other parts of Japan, you're going to see products that are boasting Hokkaido milk or Hokkaido cream or Hokkaido butter. Because their cream and their butter and everything is just so rich and delicious and just magical. And so since we were in Furano, we found out they have a cheese factory. So we said to ourselves,
heck yeah.
We gotta get that.
The cheese factory in Verano had just little displays on different types of cheese, cheeses from around the world, the history of cheese, and even had a fake cow you could pretend to milk. Woo! Because why not enjoy the entire creamery experience?
And if you have time, you could also schedule a cheese making class while you're there, so you could really fill out the whole experience. After walking through all of that, we went into the store where we tried some ice cream as well as some of the thickest milk that you've ever had. So rich, so delicious. Attached to the factory is a pizza restaurant, and we're always a little skeptical of Japanese pizza because on our second trip when we were in Osaka, we got some pizza at an Italian restaurant. And
Italian.
Yeah. It had some mushrooms and some pepperoni. It had some mozzarella. And the crust was made of phyllo dough, which if you're not aware is a really kind of a sweet pastry dough with a lot of layers. And just, it's not pizza dough.
Pizza dough.
It's not pizza dough.
We want chewy crust.
Yeah.
We want savory crust,
Yeah.
dang it. We don't want phyllo dough. Katey Pizza 2019, no phyllo dough.
All that being said, this pizza was really good. It was a nice crust. It had a good creamy cheese that just stretched on and on. Oh, it was delicious pizza.
What pairs well with cheese, you might ask?
More cheese?
No, wine! Actually, yes, but wine also. And Furano is pretty famous for its grapes and its grape juice, so I really want to try the wine. And there's this winery in Furano, and I was so excited when I found out about this because I'm a huge lover of wine, not just drinking it and indulging in it, but I really love to learn about, where it came from, how the earth and the soil is structured, what kind of processes they use for wine, all this stuff. So Japan and wine, they're not really famous for those types of things, so I was really curious.
So we took the self-guided tour and it brought you down through the process, showed you this really cool cellar that had one of their bottles from every vintage, and you could see the barrels behind the glass aging. And it's really fun and interesting to find out that the entire winery is actually run by the city of Furano, and it was started originally because they needed something to bring people there, or some kind of export, because all they really had back in the 70s was the lavender, because the flowers grow really well. However, as you can imagine, being that far north when it's that cold, you've got flowers for like a little bit of time, And then the rest of the time, when you actually get some winter, you're just going to be getting tourism of some snowboarders and skiers and some ice fishermen. And so they really wanted to find a way to have more to give back to the country than just that. And so they brought in some researchers, looked at the sides of the hills, figured that they had a very similar climate to North Europe, and said, you know what, let's do some grapes and see what happens. So they started growing grapes on the side of the hills and started the winery.
Ultimately, that worked really well for Furano. It brought in more tourism and, of course, more money from all of that. So good job on them for finding something really cool to bring to the city. And this winery was so cute. It's just really small and it doesn't have a whole lot of land to it. And of course, you know, Japan is not really famous for its winemaking. And this is a brand new winery from the 70s. You know, places like France and things like that have like over hundreds and centuries of years of growing grapes and cultivating them and understanding the processes of wine. So the wine, not as wonderful as it could have been, I'm sure, but highest of praises to the grape juice. Honestly, I've never had anything like it. It's so sweet, but still tart and has like a mouthfeel to it, and it's delicious. And you guys just have to drink it. You'll drink it way too fast. It's so good, though. It's
pretty funny, though, when, like, the grape juice has more complexity to it than the wine.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened, but they're gonna... I trust Japan will, you know, take things and learn from it and make it more complex and better than it is. So just wait a couple decades and go check it out, okay?
So, of course, as every good winery does, they had a restaurant, so we decided to stop by and got ourselves some cheese fondue, as well as some different wines to taste and see really what we thought of the other ones that we couldn't get at the tasting. Moving on, how many of you have seen this picture? Maybe on your computer background, maybe on a poster, it was really famous somewhere. This is a super famous location in Hokkaido known as the Blue Pond.
And we noticed it was only about like an hour away from our hotel, so we really wanted to see it for those Instagram photos, guys. Got to get that gram.
And if you follow us on Instagram, you might know where this is going.
Yeah, it's true.
As you've never seen the Blue Pond in our Instagram.
So we took the time to venture out there where it's really snowy and icy and cold. So this was the quote-unquote blue pond we got to experience.
Da-da-da-da!
Yay!
We actually walked past it when we first went to go look at it, and it took us a little bit of sleuthing and actually looking at a picture to see what it was supposed to look like to finally realize, oh, these are the trees. This is where it should be.
It's like, how did we not even consider winter amongst all of these things? Like,
I mean,
why would it still be blue?
To be honest, though, the reason it has that blue color is because it's getting fed by a little bit of a hot spring. And what we didn't realize is that wouldn't let it be warm year-round to actually be visible.
So we're coming back for you, Blue Pond. See you next time we're in Hokkaido.
You're in our sights.
I'm coming for
BP.
you. Yeah.
So after staring at the white iciness that should have been the Blue Pond, we decided we needed to make the most of being there. So we stopped by the Yumoto Shirogane Onsen Hotel and decided to make use of their onsen facilities. Now, what you may not know about onsen hotels in Japan, because when you stay there, you just go use the bath at the onsen anytime you'd like. However, a lot of them also offer a single-use coupon or ticket to actually get in and use the bath. And so we went up to the counter, gave them some money, rented some towels, just like you would at any other onsen, and headed on in to warm ourselves up after the cold disappointment of the Blue Pond.
And like some onsens out there, they have an outdoor side for the hot springs. And so this one, of course, was outside in the bitter cold, down some snowy stairs where you're naked, fully exposed, feet are getting frozen step by step as you go take a plunge into the hot spring outside. It felt really good once you did get in there, but man, that was tough.
It's pretty funny though once you're down there to watch everybody move swiftly but carefully down these slippery snow stairs. They're like it's super funny. And just like Nobori Betsu, we once again got to put a check mark right through being in a hot onsen while it was snowing on us. So pleasant.
So
It
good.
feels so great.
Do it.
Do it.
Go now.
Do it now! After relaxing for a bit, we headed back to our room so that we could get an early shut-eye because we had to be on the road at 4 a.m. the next morning so we could make it to Aomori.
Ooh. So look forward to our next B&K Japan guide. So look forward to our next B&K Japan guide to Aomori, the land of apples and Nebuta.
And as always, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing.
And until next time, bye,
See ya.
minasan.
夜このルアーこれ
これ
イワシから